So, how does an artist go from just being a singer to completely rewriting the rules of modern pop stardom? It takes a lot more than just a great voice. It really takes vision, serious ambition, and this kind of unshakable sense of who you are. Let's get into it.
Today, we're going to break down the career of one of the most definitive artists of our time. This is the story of Dua Lipa, from her really unique beginnings all the way to her absolute global domination.
All right, let's start where her story really begins, with her name. In this first part, A Girl Named Love, we're going to look at the foundations that shaped the icon she was pretty much destined to become.
And no, I'm not kidding, her story literally starts with her name. Dua, which was actually her grandmother's idea, means love in Albanian. Kind of the perfect start to what becomes this incredibly powerful journey, right?
You see, her whole artistic identity is really rooted in this dual heritage. She was born in London to Kosovo Albanian parents, so music was just always in her blood. I mean, her dad was the lead singer of a Kosovan rock band, so their house was filled with legends like David Bowie and Bob Dylan. This amazing blend of cultures and sounds became a huge part of who she is, especially after the family moved back to Kosovo when she was a kid.
And you can just tell her ambition was off the charts from a super young age. Get this, at just 15 years old, she makes this massive decision to move back to London, all by herself, to chase her dream of being a musician. I mean, the drive and focus that takes. It's just extraordinary.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 2, writing her new rules. This is the part of the story where she goes from being a waitress to an artist, right on the edge of a massive global breakthrough.
And look, this was not an overnight success, not at all. It was a slow, steady, deliberate climb. She signed with her management team in 2013, got that all-important record deal a year later, and then spent 3 whole years working on her music before that debut album finally came out. And then, New Rules just exploded.
New Rules was so much more than just a hit. It was a genuine cultural moment. It dropped right when conversations about female empowerment were everywhere, and it just became this global anthem for self-respect and friendship. This was the song that really defined her voice and announced to the world that she had arrived.
And of course, the music industry took notice immediately. All that success from her first album led straight to major awards. We're talking 2 huge Brit Awards, including that really coveted prize for British female solo artist.
Okay, so this brings us to our third section, Pop's Future Nostalgia. This is the chapter where she didn't just become a star, no. This is where she cemented her status as a true, bona fide, global superstar.
The jump from her first album to her second is just wow. Her debut was the breakthrough, right? It put her on the map, but Future Nostalgia, that was a whole different animal. It was this genre-defining, disco-inspired masterpiece that shot her straight into the pop elite. A massive, massive leap forward.
I mean, the hits from that album were just inescapable. You couldn't turn on the radio or walk into a store without hearing them. A song like Levitating wasn't just popular, it completely dominated. It was the biggest song in the United States for the entire year of 2021. Think about that. That kind of thing almost never happens.
And here it is, the ultimate validation. Winning the Grammy for Best Pop Vocal Album basically put an official stamp on everything. This wasn't just about selling records anymore, this was the highest level of critical recognition. It confirmed her place right alongside the biggest names in music.
But Dua Lipa's vision was always way bigger than just the music charts. In Section 4, More Than the Music, we get to see how she started to carefully build a full-on empire.
You can see she followed a really clear plan. First, nail down the global pop superstardom. Check. Then, become a fashion icon, working with giants like Versace and Yves Saint Laurent. Check. After that, step into acting with parts in huge blockbusters like Barbie and Argylle. And all along, she was building her platform as a passionate activist.
Now, this right here, this is a serious power move. For an artist to get full ownership of all their music, especially this early in their career, it's almost unheard of. It gives her total control over her creative legacy and, of course, its financial future. This isn't just about art anymore. This is about being an incredibly smart business person.
And she consistently uses that incredible platform for good. She's a really outspoken advocate for women's rights and LGBTQ+ equality. She started a foundation to help her home community in Kosovo, and she proudly represents for dual heritage. She really gets that having this much influence comes with a responsibility to use it.
So,
That brings us to our final section, Radical Optimism, Lasting Legacy. This is where we take a look at where she is right now and start to ask that big question. What could possibly be next? Well, the momentum has not slowed down one bit. Her third album, Radical Optimism, shot straight to #1 in the UK. It just proves she's still at the very, very top of her game, able to command the charts every time she releases new music.
And if there was any tiny bit of doubt left in anyone's mind, this completely erased it. Headlining Glastonbury, that's a rite of passage for absolute music legends. So taking that main stage in 2024, that confirmed it. She is a true global headliner, an artist who can hold a crowd of hundreds of thousands in the palm of her hand.
So this leaves us with one last question. I mean, she's already an icon, a business leader, an activist. In an industry that's famous for forgetting people quickly, what do you think the lasting impact will be of an artist who's achieved so much, so fast, and so completely on her own terms? What will her real legacy be?